Hey everyone, Lacey Lee here today and welcome. A little disheveled. I had no intention of sharing a video today, but I felt compelled. I received this video yesterday and I've watched it a handful of times. It's from a nurse or someone who is no longer going to be a nurse because she's pregnant and choosing not to get vaccinated. I think the video just speaks for itself. But despite what the media is telling you about unvaccinated people, she is a good person.
I know that I am not a bad nurse, but I will be losing my job in 18 days. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I treat my patients with respect, dignity, compassion, equality, and kindness regardless of their health decisions and lifestyle choices. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because even though I'm 5 months pregnant, I choose to care for my patients with a smile and the same level of attentiveness rather than go for a pee, eat my lunch, or put my feet up when all I want to say is, fuck it, I'm hungry. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because previous patients have reached out to me and thanked me for the care that I gave them, and then in turn wanted to support me when they found out that I needed help. I know that I am not a bad nurse because I believe in critical thinking, ensuring that orders meet patients' goals, that individuals are involved in their care, and that they are advocated for when someone needs to speak out. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I get my healthcare information from educated sources. I do not follow the media, and I do not fall for peer pressure when making important decisions for myself or others. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because when my manager told me that I was going to lose my job, she cried. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I choose to care for those who are sick on my birthdays, holidays, when I'm tired or injured, and I will continue to care for them even after I was told that my medical choices are not respected by my employer and I will lose my job in 18 days. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because my colleagues cried and said all the good ones leave when I had to move and go to a different province. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I believe in informed decision-making, freedom of choice, and do not treat my patients differently if they make choices that I don't agree with. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I practice what I preach. I do not smoke. I eat a well-balanced diet. I use physical exercise to keep my body strong and treat my ailments. I do not rely on medications, and I maintain a healthy social life to ensure I don't fall into poor coping mechanisms when times get tough. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because this is pre-mandate. All of my past supervisors remembered me by name and were eager to give me references and offered me jobs. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I have been a patient. I was stuck in bed for 2 months, unable to walk to the bathroom, even use a bedpan or wipe my own butt. I couldn't sit up to eat or feel the fresh air on my skin. I was left without my call bell and felt completely afraid. I have thought that I may never walk again. I ate shitty hospital food every single day, and I have been completely helpless to the mercy of those around me. My saviors were my visitors, some people who I barely knew but appreciated me in some way, and some who were close family and friends. These visitors gave me life, hope, a sense of freedom in my isolation. I can truly sympathize with those stuck in their hospital beds, seniors' homes, and in other forced lockdown situations, and say that I personally would have rather died than spend those endless, helpless days alone without sunlight and human connection. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I care about more than my paycheck, and I can sincerely say that I love my job and do not wish to leave it. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because my colleagues go out of their way to thank me for having a team approach to healthcare. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I also know it's completely unethical to tell anyone that they must make a decision about their personal life or health based on a one-size-fits-all approach. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I actively seek ways to learn and evolve, ask for feedback from my colleagues on how to improve my practice on a regular basis, and I'm not afraid to say I need help when I'm unsure of what to do. I know that I'm not a bad nurse because I will not be bullied. I will speak when I feel something is inappropriate, and I have always and will always follow the facts when it comes to keeping my patients safe. I know that I am not a bad nurse because despite losing my job over an experimental mandate, it makes me feel more sick to know that my colleagues and my patients will be the ones to suffer the most. I know I am not a bad nurse.